And welcome to another edition of the CSU Lakers Show at the Loch with Coach Vince Alexander. I'm your host, David Jones. Man, I want to welcome everybody back after we had a little hiatus, but we're back in full in effect again. And, you know, since the last time we've been on the show, a lot of things have happened. I've been teasing both the guys tonight. We have Coach Vince Alexander and Associate Head Coach Andre Anthony. I say they don't want to give me some heart medicine with all these close games this year. But, you know, first of all, I want to welcome you all to the show. But I'm going to stand on what I'm telling you all. Come February or March, you all are going to be a dangerous team. And I it's not even a feeling. Like when you just start looking at this, I'm sure other coaches are saying the same thing. Like, man, I wouldn't want to play Clayton State in the first round of the Peach Belt tournament because all of these games are 2-3 point games. And you guys, it's a different look and feel than last year because, you know, you guys had to battle back. And you guys weren't out of the games last year. Now it's just really executing because when you battled back from those deficits, it was like last year those guys didn't have enough in the tank. But Coach A, you got a bench. That's the biggest thing. You got a bench. And now that's starting to pay dividends because, you know, like we said backstage, it's that next man up mentality. And someone is always giving you that shot in the arm during these games.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's one of the biggest qualities we possess, and that is our depth, you know, and it's quality depth. And it's actually getting better and better, you know, and it's believe it or not, it's our young guys. And, you know, so, you know, we're really excited about that, especially being our young guys, you know, stepping up and stepping in, you know, doing a good job. And so, you know, we've been, Coach Dre and I have been really excited about that. But, you know, you're right. There have been some heart-wrenching games in there where, you know, you got to sit down, put your seatbelt on, and, like, you know, just, like, pray. Because it's like, man, it's one possession. You know, we just got to give 1, 2 or 3 good possessions, and we put these games away, you know. And, you know, we did the same thing down at Flagler. I think at one time we got 5 or 6 straight stops. Came down, missed front end of 1-and-1. Came down, missed front end of a 1-and-1. Came down, missed a layup, missed a pull-up. Came down and got an offensive foul. 5 possessions and got stops in all those possessions. We're down 3 the whole time. You know, had we taken care of those possessions. So, you know, Dre and I are trying to get our guys to understand the value of you know, making sure that we, you know, value each possession we get. You know, no foolishness. You know, we don't have time for it because our games are coming down in that one possession.
You know, Coach, I really feel like it's like you said it already. It's an experience thing, and I feel like the more experience these guys get in these close games is going to make you all dangerous come March. I mean, you said it best. Like, you know, these guys are, you know, gelling, and, you know, it took that first half for them to start to really get together, but like you can see it now, like they're really starting to come together. And, you know, like you said, the freshmen, man, I mean, that freshman core you got, that they're going to be exciting in these upcoming years because it's like you can see them growing up and maturing right before your eyes.
Yeah, and you're right, Dave. They are growing up, and we're putting them in situations where they have to grow up. So, you know, you're right about that.
But that comes back to that development. And you know, Dre, we'll talk about that, you know, that development piece. Now they're starting to, you know, put together what they're learning from development. Now they're putting together in game time situations.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're at it. We're up and at it every day, man. Like that's one thing about, you know, that you can expect from a Clayton State basketball player is for them to be prepared. You know, and a lot of that is the skill development through our workouts, and not just our workouts, and, you know, our film sessions and things like that. So just across the board, we try to make our guys as complete as possible. And a lot of that has to do with coach's experience and other places that he's been, and some methods that have shown to work. So we just try to from day one promote those methods, and the guys that buy into it and really embrace it, they end up getting better. And you're seeing that from the freshmen because they're sponges. They soak it up. They have some good days, they have some bad days, and but they know that it's necessary to be able to compete and play at this level.
So I'm glad you just said that. And this question goes to both of you all. So you guys believe in a formula from that development standpoint that translates into game time situations, correct?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And which leads to my next question. One of the things that jumped out to me last game, Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris came in and, Coach, we always talk about that next man up mentality. He gave you some big minutes as well as, he put some points on the board. Marcus was productive. He ended up with, I think Marcus ended up with 16.
I think 15.
No, Marcus 15. 15 points, 3 steals, and 4 assists.
Yep.
And one thing rebounds. I'm learning about you, Coach, and 4 rebounds. One thing I'm learning about you, Coach, if these guys are playing, you will reward them with minutes.
And you're
whether
exactly
you're a
right.
freshman. Yeah.
No matter what year they are.
I'm sitting back paying attention. Yeah. You're not one of the, how can I say, have an old school mentality where, you need to sit, you need to earn, and you need to sit and learn. No, if you're productive, i.e. if you're productive in practice and you're productive when you get those minutes on the floor, you reward them. And I've seen that a number of times. So I already know when I see a player that's stepping up and giving you some good minutes, I know I'll see him again the following game.
Yeah. Coach Dre, Andre, he played on a team that featured, like 4 or 5 freshmen, and all 5 of them played. And now he's coaching a team. That's one thing about me. I'm trying to win games. I don't care what year you are. If you're out there, if you're doing what we ask you to do, you're gonna get a shot. Hey, Eddie Page wasn't playing that much. First 4 or 5 games a season, Coach, and now he's starting, and he's just a sophomore. Baki Lecky didn't play, the first 2 of the exhibitions against the D1 schools, and the first 4 games of the season. He didn't touch the floor, and now he's out there playing. He's worked hard, doing a good job in practice. Be consistent, and when we put you in a game, your opportunity is going to come. But now you also have the pressure of producing when you get that opportunity. So far, these guys have done a good job. When they get their opportunity, they're producing.
And it's funny how this even leads to the next question. Wes Williams knocks down the huge shot for you all to knock off nationally ranked USC Aiken. And Wes didn't play that many minutes. But when Wes came in, you just said it best. He was ready, he stepped up, and he produced.
Yeah, there's an interesting story about this whole thing, like the way that took place, man. Nothing but an act of God to me, in my personal opinion. We lose to Georgia College. Wes gets a shot in that same spot, and he misses it. And he comes up to me after the game and he said, "It won't happen again." And I said, okay. But not only that, when Coach Dre and I left the gym, guess who was in the gym shooting after the game?
I saw that.
Wes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, next game comes up. Coach has a little bit of something. I'll finish it up, but I'm going to let him add what he had, because he had the instinct, which I believe God put on his heart to put Wes in that game because he was really going to go a different direction, and he put Wes in that game. But go ahead, Coach.
Oh, so the game day edits that we put out was really supposed to be Baki that day. And then at the last minute, I changed it to Wes. So the same day he hit the shot, I switched the edit to him, so it ended up being him on the edit that day, but he wasn't supposed to, he wasn't supposed to be the edit for the game day edit. So it was just kind of, it was kind of crazy. And then, like you said, he only had played 6 minutes. It's because not because he's not good enough or, Aiken kind of played small. They had a 4-guard lineup, so we had to go with a smaller lineup for the majority of the game defensively. So, and then I just put him in the game because it was just, I don't even know, it had to be God. It had to be, because I wasn't even, you know what I mean? Like, it just was like, Wes, go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you to add to that, so Wes comes out after he had said to me Wednesday night, that won't happen again. He comes out, he gets the same shot in that same spot. He hits the shot. And, obviously we celebrate, we're thankful, we're blessed, obviously you want to congratulate him, but, me personally, I thank God and, for how all that sort of transpired. And so afterwards, I said to Wes, I said, now the other day, you missed the shot and you got in the gym and you put up extra shots after the game to assure that wouldn't happen the next time. Said, now what would a champion do after this game? He said a champion would be back in the gym shooting again. So Dre and I get ready to leave the gym, and guess who's in the gym? By himself, putting up shots. So he's grown a lot too. And, because he sat there and when he was interviewed after the game, he said, I trust our coaching staff. They knew they had to go with a different lineup in order to keep us in the game because Aiken was going small. And he trusted us enough to not pout. He didn't pout. He didn't whine. He never came over and go, why am I not in the game? What can I get in? He sat there and cheered for his teammates. And if you notice that some timeouts, he was up talking to guys and telling them what to do. And then he's called on to go into the game, and wow.
And not only is that senior leadership, if anybody watches the rewind of him hitting the shot, you can tell he's well liked because the excitement of the team to see him hit the shot. First of all, Marcus had an open shot. To be honest with you, Marcus had an open shot in the corner.
He had an open shot.
Yes, he did. He had an open shot. When he passed it up, I was like, wow. I was like, well, he's open. But I mean, don't get me wrong, West was open as well. But that's that unselfishness of team play. And that's why I say when you start to see stuff like that, as the year goes on, I'm going to continue to harp on this on. You'll hear me say it on this show and the next episode and the next one. That makes for a dangerous team because when you share the ball like that, you have that unselfishness, you go with the hot guy, and then the team starts to look for that hot guy. And this leads right up to this. Man, Ty Shirley and Travis Harper together are becoming a dangerous combo. Mm-hmm. And, both of them have potential for, all peach.
Yeah. I'll let Coach Gray elaborate on that.
I'm glad I'm not in the league right now with them two dudes. I'll tell you that right now, because having to guard them two dudes, with their size advantage, it's tough, man. It's tough. Like they're two of our hardest workers too. They're lab rats. Them dudes. They're in the lab. You know what I mean? You got to pull them out. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to pull them out. So those two guys, they're like, I know y'all called Aaron Petts and Keandre fire and ice, but those two dudes are like they're really like fire and ice, even to like their hairstyles, two different colors, but like similar hairstyles, similar size, but that's just a credit to their work, man. That's just a credit to everything that they do on a daily basis, committing, their mindsets. Ty Shirley is an extremely unselfish player, really is.
Could have 20 every night, but
Yeah, he's unselfish, man. I
he's
mean,
very unselfish.
very unselfish.
Too unselfish sometimes, Coach.
Yeah, definitely. And Deuce is somebody that obviously has been in the program and knows what it takes and knows what's been here before him. So he's been consistent. He's consistent. It's the most consistent I've seen a young guy in a long time. So they got it, man. Those two dudes got it. They got it.
Yeah,
they got it.
No doubt.
And which leads to the quarterback. The quarterback is starting to really step up, and it looks like he's getting over the injury bug. TJ Stargell. TJ had a great game with 13 points. He's doing what he's expected to do. And I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about the team earlier this season. I said TJ's going to have to be the Brian Coffey this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he's starting to get there. And, I like his confidence is starting to grow with each game. I really feel like as TJ goes, and don't get me wrong, of course, Ty Shirley and, Deuce, they're going to be important, of course, as well as the rest of the guys that, are coming off the bench. But TJ's the quarterback. TJ's the one setting up everybody to, be successful. So as TJ goes, that's how Clayton State's going to go.
Yeah. He does a really good job. He's come a long ways. I get on to him and Coach Dre as well. Get on to him all the time about being disciplined and being consistent, and he's really working hard to do those things for us. And, I think about, we elected not to call timeout in that situation. I elected not to call timeout because I didn't want Aiken to set their defense.
Okay.
And I didn't want all guys sitting on the bench thinking about a shot, thinking about, man, if I get this shot, I got to make it. If I get this shot, I got to make it. So I was like, you know what? We're not going to call timeout. We're going to play through it. And, TJ made a great move. He rejected a screen, got downhill, and then hit the shake man, which was Marcus. And Marcus won more to West. Like you said, Marcus was open. But the instinct and the unselfishness of Marcus was, you know what? West is a pretty clutch shooter, especially in practice. Let me give him one more. And he went that one more. And, then West hits the shot. Praise God. So, TJ initiated that all, though. He made it happen. And he's continuing to grow. And we're going to keep pushing him, keep teaching him, because it's our goal that he develops into a pro.
I like the sounds of that. One of the other things that's going to be interesting as well, and Coach, this may be a recruiting piece right here, like the play of Eddie Page lately. Like we talked about earlier before the show started. Eddie didn't play as much, and now Eddie's starting to get some really important minutes as he starts to get the confidence and the development. He's starting to really produce now.
Mm-hmm. He's doing a good job. Still, not, lacks experience, but he has heart. He plays hard. He wants to do well. He's coachable. So with all those things going for him, you can't help but see progress. You can't help but get better.
I definitely agree with that. I like to have names for a number of these guys. gonna start calling Christian Chambers my mystery guy, because there's some games where
Mystery to
Christian
us
is
too.
and I say that out of love too, because the reason why I say that, there's some games you're like, okay, well, maybe it just wasn't his night. Then he comes in the Georgia College game and gives you quality play. And I'm like, Christian, man, we need this every game. Like you see, it's undeniable he's talented. There's no question about it. But I think if he can if he can stay consistent, let me say that. And when I say that, I'm talking like you guys now. Like, if you can stay consistent, that's even a bigger boost for you guys.
Yeah, Coach Dre, you want to elaborate on CC?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the biggest thing, like you said, for him is staying consistent. And we talk about the depth that we got on our team, and sometimes, it's not enough. It's not enough time for everybody. And a lot of that has to do with practice, and some days, some games, it may be your game to step up. And other times it may not be. I think the biggest thing for him, I've been impressed with his attitude, and how he supports his teammates. He's another guy that really has a good attitude, comes into practice happy, and he's a great kid. He's a great kid, and like you said, he has a switch. He has that switch, and sometimes that switch is hard to turn off. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he's on go mode, and you can't stop him. And he just has to continue to work on his consistency and keep that switch on. But he's doing a really good job. He's grown a lot since last year as well. I mean, coming into our program, like we mentioned before, is like, everybody is not going to be used to, the demand that we have as coaches and, in our program, man. We're really detailed. Everything we do on and off the floor, we expect our guys to be detailed. And, it's a lot of learning and a lot of growing in that for a lot of these newcomers that come in. And, I think CCE's grown so much in the last year, and, on and off the court. And I think, he's going to continue to be a spark for us, in those moments. And, we're looking forward to him being that and starring in that, and having that be his role, So it's a luxury to have a player like that can score and that can do a lot of things, that has experience, that comes off the bench for you. So, we really enjoy having him here.
And my next person, he's one of he's one of the guys that I really take a liking to. It's Jamal Kleiss, because Jamal's not expected to put up 15, 20 points a night. Jamal's going to get in there, be that emotional leader, the dirty work. He's going to do the things that a lot of times a lot of other people won't do for this team to be successful. And you got to have a guy like that. And Jamal is that guy for Clayton State.
Yeah, Jamal, he definitely is that guy. He's our energy guy. He's the one that's going to be setting screens, taking charges, diving after loose balls. He's that guy, and we look to that. We look for that from him. And he does a tremendous job of leading and being vocal, being a voice on the floor. We're really blessed to have him. Really blessed to have him, because he does a lot for this program that, if you're not in the program, are really deeply invested somehow in our program, you don't know. You don't know that he is, a very significant part to what we do and the success that we're going to have. He plays a very significant role.
I definitely agree with that. But to be honest, you said it earlier, everybody on this team plays a significant role, because they don't know when their number is going to be called, so they have to be ready. And, which leads to Kenneth Brayboy, the freshman. He had some good minutes against Georgia College and actually played pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he did. You know, the thing with him is being consistent. You know, like he came in against Georgia College, did a really nice job. You know, and then he came in, you know, against Aiken, and you know didn't look quite ready. You know, didn't look like he was into it. You know, but you know, typically, you know, he's one of those guys you can count on. You know, that's going to be hard nosed, tough, defend, rebound. You know, he comes from a great program with a great high school coach, and obviously we expect big things from him.
Oh, and yeah, there's definitely going to be some bigger expectations for him as as the years go by. He'll be an integral part of your lineup. You can see that. One of my other good guys as well is Baki. Baki's another one. Like Baki and Jamal Kleiss kind of give you that same vibe where
Yeah.
Baki's going to give you that energy. He's going to play hard. He's going to try and lift the team in any way possible. No, I mean, so it's not expected that Baki's going to give you 10, 15, 20, but he's going to fill that stat sheet so people can see, that he brings value. I always like to talk about that, Dre. How can you bring value? And he's productive when he gets that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. I mean, a lot of times everybody predicates or defines success in basketball off of offense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everybody can't shoot, everybody can't score all the time, So you have to be able to find other things that you can you can bring to the team. You know what I mean? And that's what Brocky brings. He has a great attitude, really, really good approach to the game, works hard. So he's one of those guys that, we can count on when he comes in a game because we know what we're going to get out of him, And that's the biggest thing for young players is like, anybody that's watching this is if you're a young player, to get on the floor, you got to do the things that people don't want to do, which is play defense, hustle, all the dirty work. You know what I mean? If you can do that at a high level, somebody will find minutes for you. There's like you said, there's value in that. And like I said, man, it's about making winning plays, and that doesn't always necessarily equate to stat or points, or stuff that shows up in the stat sheet. So, Bach is one of those glue guys. He's a glue guy that's going to do that.
And like you said, it's about when you guys watch the tape, you guys are looking for those things. How are they affecting the game when they come into the game? Like, yes, you're paying attention to, do they rebound, do they play defense, but are they giving you guys a spark off that bench? Because a lot of times it's undeniable when somebody comes into that game and they provide that spark, the other players will feed off of that energy as well. And, Coach, I feel like I've been there long enough to see, if he's providing that spark and energy, Coach Alexander is going to give him he's going to reward them with a couple more minutes because, like you said, he's doing what he's asked. He's giving the team a lift. And sometimes it can be unexpected as well.
Yeah. I just, to me, guys, I look at the game and, a lot of times, we're in the flow going and, I think about practice, and I think about guys who, when you say to them, hey, you need to do a better job, they go, yes, sir, and they try to do that. I look at, they're told something by their teammates and they don't like get an attitude like, you can't tell me, what to do. And I think about those kind of things. And a lot of times I make decisions going in the game based on that attitude because that's a winning mentality. Even though, you may not win that. We lost those 3-point ball games. Those guys, when they came in, they brought something to the table to help us put ourselves in a position to win the game. And it's because their attitude and their work ethic. And Baki just has a great attitude and a great work ethic. And, he could be a really, 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 really good player on a lot of teams in this league. You know, he could go and probably, average double figures at one of these other colleges, Southern Wesleyan, Erskine or something like that. He probably could average double figures, but it's not what we asked him to do. We asked him to be a great defender, first, be, rebound, take open shots, knock down open threes, get to the rim, get to the paint, draw for your teammates and kick. And he does just that and does a great job with
And one of the most interesting players on your team, and I look at this, incoming freshmen need to pay attention to this. So any of you incoming freshmen that are paying attention and watching, the coaches show, Elijah Dates. When I look at Elijah, I remember seeing Elijah, early, before the season started. And, I know there were plans to say, oh, we're going to develop him. And then I looked at it like, okay, because of the situation, they're like, hey, he has to play. And man, has he stepped up and earned his minutes and is starting to get consistent minutes now. And that goes back to you all's philosophy. If you do what I ask you to do, and you're playing, within, you're not turning the ball over, you're playing defense, you'll get rewarded. And he's getting rewarded.
Yeah, he's definitely getting rewarded, man. We, Coach Dre and I saw in him early a toughness, a willingness to not back down, to not be afraid of that moment. And I mean, this is guy's first year of college basketball.
Yeah.
And, he's doing a pretty darn good job.
Yes,
he's showing how promising his future and career can be. I think he's going to be really, he can score a lot better, more than what we think, because he's playing a role right now and we don't need him to do that. But, the kid is capable. If we ran stuff through him and to him, he could average, 15 points a game this year as well, because he can shoot it, but he plays this role, does a nice job with it, very coachable. I just love him to death.
I mean, he's not only is he a culture kid, and when I say every program needs a culture kid, and he does exactly what he's asked to do. He doesn't cause any trouble. He's respectful. Like, to me, Elijah's one of those kids, as a coach, he'd be like, oh, I wish we had 4 or 5 of these type of kids, because, he's going to go to class, he's going to get his work done. He's going to go to practice. So, when you look at that, you can almost say he's going to be successful if he sticks to it. And then you have him watching the leadership of Wes and the leadership of TJ as well, to learn from that. So when his time comes to be, quote unquote, the go-to guy, he'll be ready. Yeah. He'll be ready, which leads to, like you said, every person has a role. and my guy, tough, Dre, he's from our hometown, part of that Fire and Ice crew. You pretty much know what to expect when Keandre Bowles gets in the game.
Definitely. Definitely. He's getting to the rim. He's going to get to his pull-ups. He's he's special at that. And, a lot of people don't know he had a year off. He had a gap year. So, he took a year off after playing at Dodge City for a year. So it was an adjustment. It's been an adjustment for him as well. We haven't seen him at his best either, so he's a special talent, and I think the beauty of our team this year is just the way that our guys get in the gym. Like, our guys get in the gym. We don't have to beg them, to get in the gym. And it's really been huge, man. It's really been huge, and they all commit to doing more And there's obviously more that we can do, but I think that's the major thing difference between this year and previous years. Just those guys get in the gym, and Dre's one of those guys that's pretty much in there for often. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And as we're winding down the show, big week for you guys this week. Definitely a big week. I feel like this is the turning point. You got Georgia Southwestern and you got USC Buford. I know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like you already beat USC Buford, and with Georgia Southwestern coming up, this will get you right back into the thick of the things for the race. And this is your first time playing Georgia Southwestern. What are your thoughts on these two upcoming games?
Well, first and foremost, Georgia Southwestern is in the top 5 right now, if I'm not mistaken, and so it's a chance for us to knock off that team and try to put ourselves in a position to get in one of those top 4 spots. And so we're locked in. Coach Dre and I are locked in. We're ready. The big thing is getting our guys to have that same feeling. To that feeling that I want to. We had our turning point. This can be the turning point of our season, one that we'll all remember. Let's work hard. Let's come together. Let's put aside our differences. Let's put aside our our personal goals, and let's strive for the goals of the team and the program. And so this is a really big week, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. First and foremost, take care of Georgia Southwestern, and that's the focus right now. And I think our guys, will be prepared. God willing, they'll be ready, to go out and give 40 minutes of hard work and commitment to one another.
Absolutely, because like you said, this Peach Belt race is tight right now. Like that's why I said these next 2 games are really going to dictate, how you guys, trend, for the rest of the season. And with the big win versus USC Aiken, I mean, everybody's a win or 2 out of being from 5th place. From Georgia Southwestern to Clayton State, it's a win. If they lose, I mean, you can drop very fast. And that's why I said this upcoming week, and I like it because you guys are starting to trend and show. It was never a question of talent. Now they're starting to come together, and I really feel like this second half of the season you guys are going to make some noise.
Yeah. I think, the one thing that I'm really enjoying most is that they're starting to compete on the defensive end. Like they're really, hunting, getting stops. Like let's get multiple stops. And, Dre and I are always so critical about our defense. We're like, guys, they don't play hard. They got to play harder. They got to play smarter. They got to pay attention. And then I had a guy that's just recently started, watching Clayton State basketball. His son was a, Division I player at one time, and a very good player. And so he's, he really knows the game. So I saw him when I was working out, and he was like, what's really starting to excite me about you guys is y'all defend. And I was like, that was the first time I'd heard that, because I'm like, Dre and I are so critical of our defense, but I think it started back at Columbus State. We started to connect defensively, like we started to defend, and all those drills we've been doing and all that push, drill after drill after drill, like defensively. We honestly spend, if our practice is an hour and a half, we probably spend an hour on defense.
Wow. Okay.
And, so that's how important it is to us. And it's starting to, it's great to start to see the fruits of your labor, start to come, as a result. So, I want to see us defend, these next, few games or however many, God has for us, hopefully on into the playoffs and even further. Um, you know, I want to see us continue to, uh, evolve as a good defensive team.
And in some of my final remarks, there's two people I really feel are going to be important that we haven't talked about. If they can give some quality minutes and coming off the bench, is Kennedy Brown and Mohamed Diallo. When they are locked in, they can give that extra boost that you guys need. And I feel like both of them are two important pieces as well.
Mm-hmm. They both are. They both are very could just add to that depth.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy's just struggling a little bit with injuries, but Muhammad, he can do it, man. He just has to, I think he has to continue to mature. To be honest with you, to be brutally honest, he's just not mature. He doesn't take seriously his talents and his abilities and his potential. He doesn't really take it seriously, I don't think. But if he did, then he'd be at Georgia Tech or Georgia. So that's something we got to
Wow.
deal with, and that's something we have to teach him and have to continue to push and motivate him every day. Because if he did have a motor, if he was, self-driven and determined and worked like we want him to work, he wouldn't be here because he's talented. He's gifted.
Yes, he is.
He's gifted. But hopefully we can bring it out of him, and he can step in and help us, and Kennedy as well.
And listen, and like I said, I know we'll be back next week, but like I said, I think this next week is pivotal for your season. If you guys can grab these two victories, now they're statements. USC Aiken was a statement, but I feel like Clayton State is about to make a couple more statements in the next 2 weeks, because even after that, you got the big matchup at home against Augusta. That's turned into a rivalry as is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple years, those have been really good games at the Loch. So, everybody's looking forward to see, how the season plays out, the end of January going into money time in February.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, that'll wrap it up for the show tonight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as usual. I want to thank the both of you for, coming on and us having our barbershop talk, and honestly just really talking about, the potential of this team, because I talk about this all the time. You can see the potential, and I always like this saying. This was said to me a lot of times. People don't see the work in a program until it's 85% complete. Then everybody wants to jump on board. We all can sit here and talk about the first 2 years, but when you guys start to turn the corner and you start to raise eyebrows with certain victories, now everybody wants to jump on board. But and even if they're watching the show, you're clearly talking about the ups, the downs, and all of that. And I appreciate you guys for giving the platform for this show to be what it is. And we're going to keep improving on it. And I wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll be back on next week as usual. As I say, the two all-stars.
No, that's the all-star over there, man.
That's the all-star up there in the top right-hand corner. So
that's the all-star right there.
No, not me. Not at all. Not at all. Trust me. Not at all.
But I feel like before I let you guys go, I mean, Coach, you're a believer, as you say, as well. And I truly believe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the excitement is coming, and a lot of people, as I say, are going to start to see that 85% of work being completed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I certainly believe that as well. I do believe that it was a turning point in our season, where your hard work starts to pay off. Your lessons, your individual meetings, your team meetings. Now it's all, going to start to pay off. And I think it's because Dre and I have been consistent. We've been fair. If you come in and practice and you have a good attitude, you work hard and you're coachable, you're going to get a chance to play. Now, what you do with that opportunity is up to you. And I think as a result, guys are seeing that and they're like, well, when I do what I'm supposed to do, they play me, i.e. Marcus, so now, here's a freshman who he didn't play coach, he didn't play like the first 6 games, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think his first game was against Morehouse.
He played against Morehouse. Yeah, and then he got hurt.
He was hurt
and missed
up.
Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and some things like that. Then he came back, and now he's in the rotation, as a freshman. I don't care. Let's play. Let's give me guys that want to win.
Absolutely.
So that's where we are.
Listen, I want to thank you guys as usual, for having a fun-filled, entertaining show, but it's also knowledgeable because I like to have this show, so for coaches to pay attention because, Dre, some of my frustration is, people always have the misconception, oh, I can come to Clayton State and just kill, and don't even start me with that. That just takes me there where they have no idea what it takes to play on the D2 level, don't have no idea that you have D1 drop downs, have no idea, to be quite honest, that you guys are good as good as some D1 programs as well. But, it's always that D1 or bust persona. And that's why I wanted to have the show to talk about, Coach, you're well decorated, you're highly respected. And I want people to understand because, as this show goes out on Twitter and YouTube, you guys have a huge following on the team page. So for a lot of you prospects that are watching this show, you need to understand what it takes to play on this level.
It takes everything.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate you guys as usual. This is episode number 6 at CSU Lakers Show at the Loch. We'll be back next week, and God bless you guys. Good night.
Go Lakers.